Do you remember being at the Joshua House and getting a phone call from someone who offered you to come down to Florida?
Yes.
So you're set it up real quick. You're at the Joshua House. You've been there maybe 3 or 4 months.
Yep.
And so it's really representing the old network of people, the old relationships, or maybe even wondering where Rich is.
Yep.
And so, and you're also trying to get an entry-level subway job.
Yeah.
You know, and you're kind of working with a crappy boss and coworkers that get high.
Yep.
And you get a phone call. What was that phone call?
Basically just to drop everything and head down to Florida and basically make videos. And I mean, when you throw away your black book, you thought you're done.
Oh.
When you're done exploiting yourself, here it comes again, knocking on your door. And I mean, when someone knocks on your door and says, you know, here's $10, this will help you get on the bus, and then someone knocks on the door and says, well, here's $4,000, why don't you just jump on down?
So you're there, 18-year-old kid, trying to get on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in the ghetto in our Joshua House.
Yep.
And trying to figure out if this subway job is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You're submitting yourself to a program.
Yeah.
You know that's a hard thing for you.
Yep.
You know, because it takes away some of the freedoms you've had in the past, in a sense.
Yep.
A very reasonable program, but that's part of it. And someone calls you up and says for $4,000 you can come down to Florida for a week.
Yeah.
You know,
just for a week.
All expense paid, be treated like a king.
Yep.
You know, and do that. And Minneapolis is one of the leaders, if not the leaders, for the largest number of porn sites, the ones that get the most hits in the
Yep.
world. To this day, I don't know how that guy got your number.
Yeah.
I'm kind of blown away that how he would ever get the number to the Joshua House to call you.
Yeah.
Why did you say no?
It just wasn't part of me anymore. It just really wasn't. I was, you know, I leave this, I guess, community, the Christian walk, and if you just kind of up and leave, I mean, you're going to make $4,000 in a week. You're going to come back and you're going to blow it in 3 days on drugs. I mean, $4,000 worth of drugs, that's a week. That's easy.
Yeah.
But I knew that, you know, doing such, I couldn't do it. It was not going to be a possibility.
Wow. So, Rich, getting on your feet, tell us a little bit about what it takes, because part of our emphasis is also talking about the need for transitional homes, and I think part of your story is already laid out. You know that when you're coming out of passive exploitation and your life skill level was very low. You didn't have a high school degree. Your reading level was very low at that time.
Yep.
You were involved in complete systems of manipulation. And now you're a young adult, 18 years old, trying to get on your feet.
Yep.
And you know, it's just not a 30-day or 28-day treatment, you know, program that you need. And
Yep.
over that first year, you lived at the Joshua House for a year.
Yeah.
You know, and if I remember right, there was also a time where we got a few months into it, 5-6 months into it, and you left.
Yep.
Ended up coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Christianity at first was overwhelming. I mean, having, not to say all the church folk was bad, it was just, there was a lot to take in.
It was a completely different culture.
Different culture, complete. I mean, I could have moved to middle of Nebraska. I mean, that's how it felt.
Or maybe China.
China,
That would be
yes.
a better example.
Or
But,
China.
You know, I've been to middle of Nebraska, and I know what you mean.
It's a whole new way of life and doing things, and you're not nickel and diming everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, trying to take a faith and a right approach into faith, and you're not needing to nickel and dime people anymore.
Yeah. And there at the Joshua House, you had, people to check in with, people to mentor, to help you set goals.
Yep.
You know, you were involved in a Bible study and a church expression, you know, to get some formation in your life.
Yep.
And you at the end of that year, you moved in with a family.
Yep.
Simmerings, wonderful couple. So Jay was on our board and part of our staff, and so you got to live with them for a year, and it was almost like being 20 years old and kind of being a foster kid.
It was
in a really good way, right?
It really stability. It was finally I'm going home. You know, wow, what's that mean?
What does it mean to you having a home?
Having a home and having a bed are two separate worlds. Having a bed is just basically having a place to have your stuff at the edge of your seat. Having just no possessions and really nothing in the refrigerator yours. That's having a bed. Having a home is having people to go home to. It's having
Place
conversation. Yeah, it's about belongingship. It's you know, people are saying, "How are you actually doing?" You know, not, "Will you do this for me?"
Yeah. And when you haven't had that, especially during formational years as a child, you know, the importance of that is so important.
Yeah, and I was very confused. Again, in the first couple months of living there, like, so this is how a family is supposed to act then, because it's a new concept.
Yeah.
That
you see conflicts happen, and then you see them resolved in healthy ways versus dysfunctional ways.
Yeah. You know, if there was something going wrong, you know, back then it was, my mother didn't want to deal with it. Go on your separate way. You know. Now it's, let's talk. What do we need to do to resolve this issue?
Wow.
And not skirt it underneath the table.
Some of the results of you being there, you ended up, I remember the first time you ever had a job more than 3 months.
Yep.
You got your GED.
A GED. I found the path of where I was going to be, and, you know, coming up with a career and coming up with 1 to 5 year goals, you know, not just day to day. Yeah. Let's plan out life now. Let's figure this out.
Excellent. How and we need to wrap this up, but how has your relationship with God, with Jesus and the Bible influenced this time of making the break that you did when you were 18, 9 years ago, and getting a foundation?
It's what's carried me, and it's what's brought me here today. I mean, it's waking up every morning and just giving them thanks. You know, I made it. I made it another day. Thank you. And just taking His word and knowing that you'll be fine. And you know, if you brush them off to the side, you know exactly where you're going to end up. So having that faith it's basically my sailboat sailing me the right way.
What are your hopes now for the future?
Culinary school. I'm in the middle. I have a 4.0 GPA. I'm on the honor roll. I have a passion for cooking. I have a passion for serving. And whatever way that God can just lead me, that's what I'm going to do.
Nice.
So.
You get 4.0 GPA?
4.0.
You rock.
And coming from a GED to doing that's pretty big.
That is really big, Rich. I'm really proud of you. It's awesome. Well, thanks. Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much. Yeah.
And it means I got keys to an actual place where I can turn the key and I can walk in.